they're reading off what your MOS is going to be. And I call it my name, Brooks. I was like, yes, Sergeant. He goes, you're NBC. I said, what? I was like, I don't want to be a newscaster, because I had no idea what NBC was. I'm like, I don't want to come here and be a reporter. What is that? And he almost cracked a smile, but he was like, no, it's chemical warfare. You're going to go and run a gas chamber. And without missing a beat, I looked at him and said, why? Because I'm a Jew? Then he lost his military bearing. Because I didn't know. I was freaking out. I thought he was just dicking with me.
Welcome back to Vegas Veteran Voices, Triple V for the rest of you guys. I'm your host, Ronnie Long, and I have the pleasure of being with one of my longest friends and mentors, Jason Brooks. How you doing, Jason?
Good, brother, man. It's always good to see you.
Hell yeah. So, I don't think I asked you. I know a little bit from back in the day, but like your military history. When did you go join originally?
So I joined a little late. I was actually 24 when I joined. So I joined in 98.
98.
March 98 is when I went off to boot camp. I actually turned 25 in boot camp.
Turned 25 in boot camp?
In boot camp, yeah.
What do they do for your birthday in boot camp?
Same thing they do every day in boot camp.
Fuck you up.
Yep.
Tried to take over
just
the
fuck
world.
with you. And, yeah.
It's all good.
But it was like summer camp for me. I loved being at boot camp. I had a blast.
I enjoyed boot camp. Well, when you think about it, like afterwards, you realize it was a game. It was a game, but it's a game to turn you into an adult, you know?
Well, not that I was an adult, but I was 24 when I
You were 24, yeah.
And being from Vegas, 24, you're not really an adult. You're still kind of a kid. That's kind of why I went in there. But yeah, so it was just like, but having that martial arts background for me, it was like, hey, just go in there and play the game. Yes, sir, no, sir. And just get it done.
So originally you were here in Vegas.
Born and raised here in Vegas.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got into martial arts when?
I was 4 when I first started. So that was 1977 under Grandmaster John Natividad, who was on Chuck Norris's black belt fight team in the 60s. So all of my original martial arts was Tang Soo Do Muay Kwan, so basically Chuck Norris system.
Nice.
That's
all
what
right.
I was groomed in. But back then, your grandmasters were more than just an instructor at a studio. Like, we went to his house, like he went to my school, make sure that, my report cards he would get. If I got in trouble at school, I got in trouble with my grandmaster. Like, they were not only your martial arts instructors, but they were like your life coach as well. He was like a second father to me. So it was a different style back then, different time. We got hit all the time with different things, different weapons. Like, there was no participation trophies. Like, you were bloody and crying most of the times back then. So
this is bringing back memories. We'll get into that later. What did you originally sign into the Marine Corps as?
That's funny. Wow, great story for this one. So originally I signed up as a SATCOM operator.
SATCOM operator?
Yeah. Well, here, let me take you back. Before I joined the Marine Corps, believe it or not, I went to go join the Air Force because I wanted to go PJ.
Okay.
Yep. I scored a 99 on the ASVAB, and the recruiter told me because of my, let's just say, checkered history of growing up in Vegas, might have, gotten a few infractions when I was younger, and not that I didn't like real jail time, but I got arrested a few times, just stupid stuff as kids, But because I had to have waivers, the recruiter said you got to come in under general waivers, so you need to go into needs of the Air Force. And right now the Air Force needs aviation mechanics. And I was like, that's really not my style. I'd rather go PJ. And he's like, well, there's an 80% washout rate. So
I didn't ask.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me try out for PJ. If I don't make it, then I'll go be your aviation mechanic. And he's like, no, we can't cut you that deal. I said, then I can't be in the Air Force. So I walked away and went over to the Marine Corps. And now going into the Marine Recruiter, I was like, I want to be SATCOM operator. So, of course, again, I scored high on the ASVAB. And they were like, you qualify for whatever you want to do. I'm like, SATCOM operator. He's like, well, that's like a radio operated grunt. Don't you want something else? I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to be, like action. Give me something to do.
Yeah.
So went off to boot camp, start MCT. And I was confused because I thought I was going to have to go to SOI at first. Back then, I think that's what you were supposed to do, go to SOI and then follow on from there. I don't know how they did it, but they said, no, you're going to MCT. And, when you're checking an MCT, they have the sergeants that are there to talk to you about stuff. And before we went out to training, they're reading off what your MOS is going to be. And I call it my name. They go, Brooks. I was like, yes, Sergeant. He goes, you're NBC. I said, what? I was like, I don't want to be a newscaster because I had no idea what NBC was. I'm like, I don't want to come here and be a reporter. What is that? And he almost cracked a smile, but he was like, no, it's chemical warfare. You're going to go and run a gas chamber. And without missing a beat, I looked at him and said, why? Because I'm a Jew? Then he lost his military bearing because I didn't know. I was freaking out. I thought he was just dicking with me. And he pretty much lost his. He's like, what's going on? And so I told him the story. He's like, you need to go call your recruiter right now. Run to the payphone, call my recruiter, Thank God he answered at the time. And he's like, yeah, the gunny that ran our recruiting station, he messed up on some paperwork because I was supposed to have a bonus and all this stuff. And he's like, we could pretty much void your contract now because you're not going to get what you signed up for, so you can go home. I'm like,
Go home.
oh, come on, dude. Like, I just made it through boot camp. I enjoy being here, so I'll just go. Apparently, I ended up with needs of the Marine Corps, and because I had a little higher of a score, they sent me off to be a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare defense specialist. So
that makes sense.
that's how I ended up first over there.
Okay. All right. And how long were you in that?
So that is my primary MOS. So I spent my first 2 years as an instructor on Camp Geiger. We used to have MARFOR Land NBC school, the Marine Forces Atlantic NBC school. So checked in there, started teaching classes, got a few meritorious promotions, and then after 2 years of doing that, which was cool because I loved just training, teaching, and then working out, ended up getting orders over to Marine Recon. So that was kind of an interesting story because I didn't even ask for that. That was kind of.
No one ever asked for it. There's,
there's
probably people who are like, "This is what I'm gonna do," but because you were gonna go PJ, right?
Yeah,
and that's kind of like wanting to go that direction. But sometimes it just happens, and you end up in the right circles, and it just happens. Do you think the background of your martial arts, because the way you said your martial arts was going, it was more of a mentorship and kind of like they were involved with your life. Do you feel like that kind of involved?
Well, at that time we didn't have McMAP out yet, so
there was no McMAP.
We didn't have McMAP yet, but what had happened was apparently over at 2nd Marine Division, Marine Recon had like the worst. They had the worst like NBC accounts running for like 10 years. Like everything was a joke over there as far as the division was concerned. Yeah. So they were complaining to the to headquarters Marine Corps. So I get this call from the NBC office from my master sergeant. He calls me over. He's like, "Hey, Brooks, get over here." And I never get a call from that side, so I had to leave, Geiger, drive over to main side, and he goes, "Come look at my computer." And I was like, "Top, I don't know anything about computers. I'm not going to look at your computer. You have computer guys for that." He's like, "No, read it." And so I went over there and I read that I have got orders to Marine Recon. He's like, "Did you request this?" I was like, "No, I thought I was going over. I was supposed to take over some other NBC account or something like that." I was like, "No, I didn't request that." He's like, "Well, this came down. You're going over to Recon." I was like, "Roger that." So that's
it's orders. Whenever you get orders, that's what you do now.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up over there. So at the time, 2nd Recon Battalion and 2nd Force were at French Creek together. So they shared an occupied space there at French Creek. There's 2 different buildings. The one was for battalion and the other was for force. So it was combined right there on French Creek. So that's how I ended up over there. Went over there to end up taking over their NBC account because one of the other Marines that was there that was running the NBC account wanted to go to Recon. So they brought me in to take over everything. And so when I was there, just opportunities opened up to do a lot of different stuff. And right at that time is when they started the McMAP program. So that's where the martial arts comes in because the first sergeant was friends with Lieutenant Colonel Bristol, who developed the program along with Ken Shamrock, which I found out. Yeah. So when we were doing that filming in Texas, Ken Shamrock and I were talking about that. He helped develop the McMAP program with Lieutenant Colonel Bristol. So I thought that was really cool.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So we both were in the Marine Corps, both worked with Ken Shamrock, and then we ran into him again in Texas.
Yeah.
All right. And I had no idea.
So my first sergeant called me in and he said, hey, Brooks, we're putting together, it's going to be me, you, and another guy that are going to be doing the McMAP program for the battalion. So we're bringing the guys down from Quantico. You're going through the course and you're going to be an instructor. I was like, roger that. So what you do, right? So that's how I ended up being a McMAP instructor over there.
Nice. So you're like one of the first McMAP instructors, would you say, or like around that time?
At the battalion, yes. Well, I mean, they already had the Center of Excellence in Quantico, so the order just came out, and when the order came out, they said everybody who's a corporal and above is supposed to be a green belt. So what we ended up doing is our battalion commander at the time, Colonel Ray Koya, he said that we're going to do a battalion stand down, but in groups. So he said everybody from E4, corporal and above, has to be a green belt. So we did a green belt program there. So we did a 2-week program. So we had 2 weeks of doing nothing but martial arts. So we took them from no belt to green belt in 2 weeks. And we did that with every swing and dog tag between battalion and force right there. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of fighting, as you can imagine.
I can't imagine.
Some hardcore big dudes. I mean, and so when you're taking on guys like that and teaching them stuff, doing all those House of Pains and boxing and takedowns and throws.
No, I remember. It's like, because it'd be funny. You don't do McMAP at all, and then they're just like, for 2 weeks, we're just doing this is all we're doing.
Yeah, but I loved it. Like I said, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And that was just, that was a blast for me because it was just like, wow. Yeah. A lot of fun.
Yeah. I got to relive that after when we met, and because I kind of needed it. Like when we met, it was in, 2015, 2016?
16, I believe.
16, yeah, because I was kind of going through something, and one of the things that I needed was to revamp what was going on in my life because I was in a really dark spot. And
Been there.
you know, McMAP was a really fun thing back in the military, but like, because I did martial arts growing up.
Right.
When you get to the military, it's very limited, right? You get little pockets here and there, right?
Yeah,
Because it's always
the
special
line
force.
training, combatives, and all that stuff, but that's geared towards a combat environment, so it's a little different.
Yeah, and then when it came over to being like, it wasn't even about being hyper aggressive. It's just about winning the stuff. That's what was cool about McMAP, because you have to figure it's designed for if you're wearing full gear and all your stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, how did the martial arts you did in the background? How did that translate with the mindset of McMAP?
Oh, well, I mean, it went in perfectly, because even though I started in Tang Sno Mudo Kwan, I ended up doing a lot of different things, because back then, my Grandmaster, and this was back in the 80s, this is when the Gracies were traveling around as a team. The brothers and the dad would always travel around just to bring, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into different things. So we had black belts that were Taekwondo, we had, Jiu-Jitsu guys coming in there, and then me and one of my best friends in high school, we started taking Muay Thai at the time too. So I was already studying 4 different arts when I was in high school. So that well-rounded background helped, and because, Marine Corps martial arts, it's one mind, any weapon. So they bring in that whole weapons of opportunity, different things. This cup right there is going to be a weapon. This microphone's going to be a weapon.
I've done that. Yeah, you're wrestling around with someone, they throw this thing at you, like, win. All right, fine, just beat the shit out of the guy with it.
It all kind of fed into to everything. So it was just kind of like natural to just go right into that, because it's just part of who you are, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then what year did you get out?
I was medically retired in 2005. I didn't want to get out after a few surgeries. I got banged up in Iraq in 03, came out, had a few surgeries, and then they forced me out in 05.
Yeah, and that's when the surgery thing started up.
Well, I'd already had a few surgeries while I was in.
Yeah.
Which is why they said, you got to go.
You guys don't realize this is basically Wolverine over here. This guy has, I've seen like his x-rays, it's all metal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, so I've had I've had the 3 neck surgeries, so they had just rebuilt that metal in my neck, metal plates and screws in my neck, and that was redone in January of 04. They just redid that. The double hip replacements twice, because I blew out the first set. So the first set that they put in me, they said, it's going to last for 50 years. And you know how Marines are, we break everything. So,
yeah.
I was like,
that always sounds like a challenge.
Yeah,
I was about to say, that's always a challenge.
And when I put them in, I'm like, wait, I'm a martial artist. I still like to jump out of airplanes. I do firearms training. I run around and do stuff. They're like, oh, no, you're fine. This is the same thing we put in athletes. You're going to be good. Don't worry about it. Roger that. 10 years later, they broke. I literally dislodged the cups in the ball and socket joint, where they put that in your pelvic, and we were still, that's when we were.
That's when we met. Yeah, that's when that was a little bit after
I blown out my lower back.
Yeah, after I remember. So when I met him, I was trying to figure out something with my life, and I went to a counterterrorism school, and Jason here was one of the instructors, and this is right before the hip replacement, because that was one of the reasons I ended up becoming an instructor, because you were my instructor for like 3 months.
Yeah,
and then once everyone was graduated, all the other instructors left. You had surgery, and it was just Craig. Yeah. He had that class of.
Well, that was 2017, because you came in before my lower back surgery.
Before your lower back, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd have the L45S1 replaced. So I've got the metal plates down there, and I think that's what led to me blowing out my hips even more.
Gotcha.
But the fact that I was running the counterterrorism school and doing everything.
Yeah, he was doing that completely broken.
Because we did, the bodyguard course, and then we had the Krav Maga instructor course, and that's a fun course too. But so everything that we did over there, that was nonstop. And then of course the tactical driving, which is a blast. So we keep ramming cars. I mean, it's
ramming cars, flipping them around. Yeah, changing out the tires without telling the rental company what we did with them.
We're supposed to disclose that.
Hey, it's okay. They don't know what rental company we used. So.
What are you gonna do? Yeah. That was a lot of fun, though.
It was a lot of fun. What brought you to that school?
So I was doing some stuff with a social media company here locally, and they asked me, "Is like, hey, do you know so and so?" And I was like, "No, I don't know who that is," because I live in my own world. I don't worry about too much of the other stuff when it comes to things like that. But so I got introduced to someone who was holding an account and knew about them. So I ended up going over there, and that's where I met the owners of the school. And when they found out about my background, the first thing that they wanted me to do was take over the school. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take over the school. I was like, you've got people here that went from student to assistant instructor to instructors. They want to work their way up into becoming a lead instructor. I'm not just going to walk into this place after you got guys that have been here for 2 or 3 years and take over. I was like, I don't do that stuff. I was like, I'll help you develop your instructors, because even in the Marine Corps, I went to their teaching schools. You can learn to become a better instructor. So I like all the train the trainer stuff. So that's what I wanted to do for him. I was like, look, I'll help train your instructors to make them develop people better, because there's a difference between being an instructor where you just teach something, just here, this is the knowledge, go ahead and you did it, now go on, and then teaching someone how to teach that. So there's a difference between being a trainer and a train the trainer, where you teach people how to teach people. And then, of course, the follow-on from that is mentoring people. So if you don't know how to mentor the people that you're training, that becomes a problem too, because then they're kind of left out on their own. And that happens a lot in that industry. We've been around together for a long time, so you see how you continue to mentor and help people out with stuff. So it's like,
yeah, I think the way you mentored me, it was very similar to how your instructors have mentored you when you were growing up. And I really took that to heart, because I still do that with people. I never even considered myself a mentor, but I legitimately care about the well-being of my students. It doesn't matter who my student is.
Exactly.
Like we were just talking about one of my students, Katie, both of our students. She's and we're like, I still
in contact. Yeah, I still have students. I have,
still wondering, cross the country.
People develop their businesses. Yeah, I've got one of our students that's in Florida that opened up his own security company, and it's like, I don't consider myself like I'm your mentor. I don't do any of that. People just call you that because you're like, hey, brother, I'm here to help you, or sister, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's like whoever you are. I'm always going to be here for you. And a lot of people say that, but really don't mean it.
No, they don't. It's like those things. It's like, hey, if you need anything, until you actually say anything, right?
Yeah, and then you say something, and they're like, oh, sorry. It's like,
it's
all about giving back to the community, which is a huge aspect of what we do.
And one of the things people don't get is like that being available and actually helping people out and making sure you legitimately care about them. That's what really opens up the doors in life.
100%.
People remember who were there for them. And that's not the reason why you should do it. You should do it because it's genuine. But like,
you don't need to be pharmaceutical about things. You do it just to do it. You don't do it to take pictures and post it up and say, look how wonderful I am because I'm doing this for other people.
Yeah, I still don't like to highlight myself when I'm next to somebody. I'm like, hey, you, come here. This guy is super cool all the time. Right? And that's just what it is. Yeah. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a little tiny break. All right. And
this segment is supported by Spec Ops Water. So Spec Ops Water is built by the movers and shakers of the industry. It's military, first responders, police, and every single can, 25 cents, is donated to first responders and veteran nonprofits that are vetted and about the cause. So thank you again to Spec Ops Water. We really appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back. Now, one thing we wanted to talk about, like while you're in the Marine Corps rarely tells you when something's like, why something sucks while you're in.
Marine Corps recruiters, they won't tell you that.
Marine Corps recruiters would tell you, like, don't worry, guy, there's
Yeah, but no, while you're in, I guess it really just depends on what unit you're with and who you're doing.
Job
because,
is.
Yeah, I mean, some areas, I can see that, but some areas, they just be brutally honest with you about stuff like that. Now, when I get to spend my time with just the amazing force over at Marine Recon, like they're going to tell you you're getting fucked up. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's a different element. But if you're one of the support groups or you're at headquarters or something like that, of course they're not going to tell you stuff.
Yeah, because it's misery. Like the hurry up and wait in the administrative roles is probably the worst. I'd take mud any day. I'll take mud pull-ups and being out without sleep for 3 days. Just don't have me.
Well, people don't understand that about not getting the meals, or not even knowing what's going on, like because you always have to have our stuff packed, and it's like there's times I'd have to call the wife and be like, hey, all right, we're leaving for a week. She's like, what? I'm like, she's like, why didn't you let me know? I'm like, because I didn't know.
I just found out.
I don't know this shit. You just have to do what they tell you to do. They said we're gone for a week. We're hitting the field. Bye. And then you don't see your wife, you don't see your kids. I mean, stuff like that. So it builds up mental toughness. I think it builds up some resiliency because you never know what you have to deal with. But now that that's in front of you, you got to get through it. That's why with us, it's always mission. It's mission first. It's yourself second.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mission accomplishment, troop welfare. So I think sometimes you hold on to that too because in life, I'll always put myself last. I'll destroy myself trying to help other people, and then be like, oh crap, now I got to take care of my stuff or take care of my medical stuff or take care of my mental health or anything like that because I'm more worried about helping other people than worrying about myself. So some of that, can translate, but I translate it into building resiliency, making yourself stronger, both mentally, physically, emotionally. I'd say spiritually, but it depends on what you're
Depends on
doing.
who's there. Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing in the Marines and what you believe in. But just like when you're raising children and the kids are complaining about something, it's like, hey, just suck it up. It builds character.
It is one of the things I will give the Marine Corps, and actually just generally the military, if it's in the hardest spots, because when you get out, like you get to that sticks with you, and it translates really well, because life sucks generally. It doesn't matter whether you're in or out. It's just going to be rough, and like how you respond to it is really the most important part.
100%, yeah. And it's even my youngest daughter's 14, and there's times that I tell her, like, honey, life sometimes is not fair. Things aren't always going to happen the way you want to, but you can't be paralyzed by that. You can't just stop everything because it didn't go your way. You just figure out a way around it, or just change and do something else. It's really not that complicated in the aspect of getting it done. But when people are so over emotional about things and they just stop functioning because of it, like, no, you gotta power through that. So in essence, like I said, I believe it helps build resiliency in a person.
Yeah, and then after that, like, let's see, we took all that stuff. We did the show. We did the school. How did you end up on the show? Because you invited me on.
Oh, okay. So that show. So, yeah,
there's a lot of shows. I know. We do. We also do stunts.
Yeah, the stunts, the movies, other two. Yeah. So, the show that we're talking about is with Don Mann.
Good old Don Mann.
Oh man, Navy SEAL. Hell of a guy. Wrote, I don't know how many books that guy's written. But so he's got a TV show on American Stories TV called Surviving Man, since his last name's Mann, M-A-N-N. I like the spinoff on it, Surviving Man.
Not related to Brenton Mann, but maybe far related. They are both Navy too.
Oh, really?
I wonder. I've never seen them in the room together. Possible.
Yeah. So what happened was they were filming a show out at what used to be called Prairie Fire. Which is now Staccato Vegas, and before that it was that one front site.
Yeah.
So that
beautiful range.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well now that Staccato owns it, so it's Staccato Vegas. But so they were going out there to film one of their shows. Well, my business partner, and you've met him, Paul Powella, hell of a guy, a solid Army guy, former LEO. He's my heterosexual life mate. That's my homage to Jay and Silent Bob. I love that. I love them. View Askew Productions. They're great. But yeah, so I was calling, my heterosexual life mate, Paul. So he calls me up and he goes, hey, Don Mann's out there in Pahrump filming a show and they need someone to go out there and teach SERE. You want to do it? I was like, fuck yeah. Are you kidding me? I love doing that. So I love teaching SERE when we were at the Israeli school. So it's like, that's my favorite thing.
What are you doing to tell people what SERE is?
That's right. Yeah. SERE is Survive, Evade, Resist, Escape. So this show on this one, it's a TV show, so it's a little bit different. So I didn't get to go into the full SERE course that we used to teach. I didn't get to waterboard anybody or anything. I'm sorry, tactical baptisms.
Tactical baptisms.
Tactical baptisms.
Right?
Yeah.
With purified water.
Purified water, absolutely.
We had a Brita.
Yeah. So he called me up and said, hey, they need that. I said, hey, roger that. So went out there, talked to them, talked to the producer Bob and everything like that. And they said, yeah, this is what we need. I said, easy day. And we ended up putting that together. And as you know, obviously I needed a team to capture some people. So what do? I call my homies.
Yep.
Enter you and Harrison, some of the other guys I work with.
Good old Sheldon.
Sheldon. All of our guys. And I was like, this is what's going on. Can you guys come out there? And like what we do, man, we give a call and say, hey, I need you, and everybody showed up. And everybody showed up. We actually, and Sheriff Mark Lamb was out there. Remember, he was the
that guy.
Yeah, he was the narrator for the show during that portion. So while they had the competitors out there doing land nav, we did some snatch and grabs.
We did some snatch and grabs. I got the little firecrackers. I was like, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do a little bait and switch. They're gonna listen to that. We're gonna come down the hill. Yeah, we had it all planned out because we've done it before.
Oh yeah. So it was nothing for us, just an easy day. And so we got to do that. And the coolest thing about that was they live streamed that. And that was the first time ever anybody's ever live streamed a situation like that. And Sheriff Lamb was funny because when we were grabbing people, we're putting, hoods on them, we're bounding them up, we're throwing them in the back of SUVs and driving them around. And he's like, well, he got a little rough with that one. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, you're not going to be gentle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we're picking people up, throwing them around, dragging them around. And that was a good time. And then we put them in the tunnels and did that. And they did a whole, that whole thing. And that's where that article came in that did it on that.
Oh, yeah. So the
American Shooting Journal. Yeah.
This is what Jason does now, right? And this, you want to talk about this magazine?
One of the things, yeah, that's American Shooting Journal. I'm actually a freelance writer for that. So, yeah, Paul is the one who brought me into that as well, because he's like, you should write. I'm like, no one wants to hear what I have to say. No one gives a crap about me. And he's like, no, you've got some interesting tales. Just go ahead and do stuff. So I write about different things, anything that's tactically related. There's stuff I write about firearms. But the cool thing about that is I get to test out different products too. So I just went through some ammo from Buffalo Ammo up in Idaho. So I'm going to be doing an article on them. I just did a thing for sub-lethal defense. It's a little, it's a foregrip that you put on your AR. And inside the grip itself, you put a can of pepper spray, which is really cool.
Of pepper spray?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll show you the pictures later when we're done here. But yeah, so I'm up there, and so you have your option. You can either or you can just and it's funny as crap. I put up my shooting dummy and just sprayed the crap out of it the other day because I had students out on the range, and then I did that. So it's like, so I get to write about different stuff. I mean, I wrote about some of my opinions on things, and like I told Paul, I was like, no one wants to hear my opinion. But he's like, no. And then I was shocked to find out that when I went to SHOT Show, because I always go there as media, and people come up to me and are like, wow, I really like the way you write. You did really good stories. Even some of the staff at American Shooting Journal was like, well, you're a really good writer. And I never thought about being a writer at all or anything like that. So I blame Paul for getting me into that. And so
fucking Paul.
Yeah, fucking Paul. Fucking Army guys. All they want to do is write and talk. No, I'm kidding. He's yeah. So that's how I ended up getting him with American Shooting Journal.
Very nice, very nice. And with American Shooting Journal, you're going to SHOT Show this year?
Yep, I'll be there again. Yep, I already got my media pass. Actually, I'm also one of two people that have a media credential for ILFE, which is the International Association of Law Enforcement Firearms Instructors, because I'm with ILFE as well.
I forgot about that.
So, yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I go there as media and just go and talk to different people, write about different stuff, see all of our friends. That's always fun.
I heard you're possibly going to the range with everybody.
Well, we have Industry Day on the range, so you have to be media for that. So, but there's a couple spin-offs of those. Like the main Industry Day on the range is out in Boulder City, at the pistol range out there, Pistol and Gun Club out there.
Yeah, the one me and Jax go to all the time.
Yeah. So there's the media day on there, but Staccato Vegas is doing one as well on that Monday. So I'll be out there on Monday to go see everybody, like Levi and the guys over at Staccato. Great group of people over there. Love that place.
The Staccato range. Oh yeah, Levi. Every time I see him, he's like, he remembers me because of what happened on the show.
Yeah,
that guy's like.
So while we're talking about that real quick, why don't we talk about that there, Ron? So.
There's a reason I ended up on a show.
Yeah, there's a reason why he stayed up on the show, and we did more filming. But
why don't you go ahead and let him know from your perspective? Because from
my perspective, the first thing I want to do is beat the crap out of you because you never run after people like that. So first off, so when we're doing so as we were doing the SERE portion, of course, we didn't have what I wanted to do was actually have at least like some
like a sim round or something.
Sim rounds or something like that. They didn't want to shoot in the vehicles with those. They didn't want to shoot in the people with that because again, it was for TV. So it's like it takes away from what we like to do. So we have to mock shoot people. So we're coming over that berm, and we're only probably like 20 yards away where we could literally just shoot these people with pistols because we're going out. And they get up and start running. Two of the guys get up and started running. And I'm like, because they were in teams of three, and we told them in the SERE brief is don't get up and run away because you got to stay with it because the idea is if you get captured, you have to go ahead and try and collect intel, do this, do that.
And you can get shot.
Live. It's like, if you try to run, you're going to get shot. So here we are, there's like 10 strong coming over a berm 20 yards away, all with long rifles, and they get up and start running. And it's like, seriously, they all would have been shot in the back. It would have been dead. It would have been over. But Ron, in his ingenious self, decides to start chasing after them.
Track them down right on the desert.
Yeah, which isn't that hard to do out in the desert, especially when they're running and he's have the, you
got the little, that's what I was trying to say. I was like, it's kind of easy. I'm like, where are you guys hiding? I can see you. It's like right there. I could see your footprints. I could see the dust trail. I'm like, and I followed them.
So he chases two of them. Now, both of them are actually martial artists as well. And one of them, the kid Landon. I
love that kid so much.
He's one of my sons is older than him, so to me, it's just like having another kid.
He does kind of look like your son. I think about
he's a little beefier.
He's a little beefier.
Yeah. It's never been that big, but yeah. So you chase them down, and so Ron goes to track them down.
Oh man, they did that perfect ambush. It was because I didn't expect it because I know they're martial artists, right? I never even thought about the tactical portion of it, which I'll never do that again. I'm not supposed to do that.
Yep.
The dude threw his camel back to pin the rifle down, and then Landon went like a spider monkey up on my back while the other guy's holding my arms. The other one, he got me a choke. I remember that thought in my head. I was like, man.
So they choke you out and take your weapon.
Yeah, and then
you did the wrong thing.
Yep.
But in theory, when it goes back to the whole thing, they would have been dead. That never would have happened. But the whole funny thing about that is because it wasn't just like a minute later. It was like you guys were gone for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which pissed me off because we had to take the other guy, and we were getting him in the tunnels, and we were searing people down there, and we got,
Just imagine Jason
and it's like-
waterboarding somebody down there. I hope Ron's okay.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well,
Shut the fuck up.
Remember, they didn't let me waterboard anybody, so we just had to
Oh yeah,
do other stuff.
interrogated them. Yeah.
So yeah,
No
we
waterboarding.
spoke sternly to them,
Yes.
and created loud noises and other things. But yeah, so yeah, and then Bob, the producer, when I talked to him about that, I told him,
Oh,
you know,
because
yeah.
when I woke up and I went and I tracked
yeah,
him down
we tracked him
again.
down again.
Yep,
Yeah,
and then-
found him again, and then yeah. So once everybody circled back, Bob was like,
Snatched him
"Hey,
up.
what's up with that guy?" So I told him your history and everything like that. He's like, "That's the kind of guy I want on the show." Hey, Roger that. So then when we went to Texas, that's how you ended up getting on the show as a competitor rather than on my side, because that was the Texas shows. I was an RSO.
Oh,
the weapons-
Texas was so
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
Very
weapons
muddy.
guy and all that stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
And we got to bring Helen.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, Helen. Yeah,
Helen.
my beast Helen. I love that girl. She's
I do
she's
too.
awesome.
Yeah, we
no,
just
no,
celebrated her
eat the world.
birthday on Sunday.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is a little bit off subject, but it's her 40th, right? We know Helen. Helen's 6 foot tall, muscular.
Mm-hmm.
She's a rugby player, covered shoulder to like
Mm-hmm. EP
E-
agent,
yeah,
protected
EP agent, combat
CPO,
medic, all
whatever
this
you wanna
stuff,
call
right?
them. Yeah.
totally on the tism,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
We were celebrating her birthday over there at Venetian,
Uh-huh.
and this guy comes up, and he's one of those guys that kind of come up and they like put hands on you when they talk, right? Not like in a rough way, like to everybody.
just a little-
like, you know,
little
like
touchy-feely.
excuse me,
Yeah.
that kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
right? Nothing wrong with it, right?
Mhm.
But like, he decided to put his hand
Mhm.
on Helen's chest,
No shit.
right here, like not on.
No, I get it.
But
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here, right? He just boom, and he was like, "I feel your heart aura, and I can tell you're a good person." And you can imagine Helen's face when that happened.
Did she not armbar take him down?
She looked at his hand, looked up at me and Holly, and it was just like she had that look on her face, like Phil Collins was playing in the background, like I've been waiting for this moment.
I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I heard the song. I heard it, and I was just like, I looked at her, I was like, "We're good."
I'm surprised nothing got snapped, broken, or.
I don't know
Bloodied.
if so, because she did take his hand and she whispered something,
Mhm.
and then the conversation stopped.
Yes, I'm
So-
guessing the whisper was, "You touch him again, I'll fucking kill you."
Yeah. I would not mess with Helen.
Mhm. Yeah,
So-
she's awesome. I love Helen.
yeah, awesome. So, with the magazine, is there when it comes to writing, do you get to pick who you want to interview or who you get to talk to, or is it like, or do
Absolutely.
they
No,
have
they
like
do.
ideas of who they want you to speak
No,
to?
they
You're
give-
freelance completely.
Yeah, they gave me carte blanche. Do whatever you want. Write about whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So whether I want to talk to a person or talk to a company or test out a product, and it doesn't matter what anything is. If it's shooting related or just martial arts related, just I could write about anything. So
And how do you do it? Do you like experience everything and then pick your favorites? Like, what's your writing process?
well, as far as writing processes, is like when people approach me or they want something written about, especially like when I meet them at SHOT. Like you talk to everybody at SHOT.
I do.
Everybody's like about products. Oh, you want to test my product? I'm like, yeah, I'll test your product. I don't care. Just send me a product and I'll test it out. So 99% of the time, because, as being at SHOT Show, you're inundated with literally, you deal with thousands
Yeah.
and thousands
You're
of
just
people.
pulling from experience and you're trying to figure out how do I
Yeah,
read
so
this out?
some people follow up and some people don't. And it's like, I'm from the aspect of, look, I could write about you or don't. Like personally, I don't care. Like this is fun for me. These are like all side gigs. Like I don't need to do this to make money or anything like that. All this is just, it's all a passion for me. It's what I want to help out the community. So I like to highlight people in the community or highlight a product that I like or something like that. So, but if I have to chase someone down, I'm not going to waste my time.
Not anymore, honestly. And that was one of the things I had to learn later on, which I appreciate learning later on. Is like, there's no reason there's so many opportunities and so many good people that are
Yep.
willing to work with you. There's no reason to like just stick on one.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's how it is. If something inspires me, I want to write about it. Or if someone inspires me, I want to talk about it. You've got a great shirt on. We're going to be talking about that.
We're going to be talking about this in a couple of episodes. Good old Braun. Yeah.
Good old bronze. So yeah, so that's it. It's just stuff that I like, stuff that inspires me, which means things to me, and I think I'm more passionate in the writing because it means something to me. So I don't want to write just to write. I don't need to do that. Like I said, so when I feel strongly about something, that's what I'll write about.
Mhm. And it's only in print form right now, right? But you can also
They
get digital print.
They have a digital, and then
Digital
and
print, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And how do they find it? They just type in American shooting.
Yeah, AmericanShootingJournal.com. It's right there at the top. I know you can't read upside down here. Let me do that for you.
Oh yeah. I don't have that kind of tism.
Yeah.
So let's see, but yeah, American Shooting Journal. I was trying to find our picture on this because this is actually It's a really good one.
Well, there was the 2 articles. One was on the show that we did, and then an article was actually written about me in there too, which was pretty cool.
Remember the nickname we gave Harrison?
No, which one?
The Boot Baron.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
That guy.
So, what kind of life lessons from all this experience that you kind of gone through? Like, what is something that people should know? What have you picked up that you like to apply as a mentor, or just in your own personal life generally?
Wow, that's a huge question.
Yeah, well, we like to keep it light here.
Yeah, no, that's a deep dark hole we can go down. But I guess it just all depends on the individuals that we're talking to. Like when it comes to military and stuff like that, people that are getting out. Like I said, I was medically retired. I didn't want to get out. I mean, that hurt me more than most things I've been through. Like I've got 5 ex-wives, and being medically retired was worse than getting divorced for me, because it's not like you just, I lost the person that I love. I lived and breathed the Marine Corps. I mean, I went from private to corporal in 11 months with 3 meritorious promotions, picked up sergeant in less than 3, got selected to staff sergeant at 5.5 years in without a B billet. Like I lived and breathed the Marine Corps. I loved it. And when that got taken away from me, I was devastated. I was depressed. You lose your identity. You lose your core. I mean, that was my core. I mean, it was everything to me. Mm-hmm. So I had to reinvent myself because I couldn't do some of the stuff that I did while I was in. So it took a long time to get through all that. Also, just the people that you lose, it's not just you lose part of yourself. I mean, I felt like I lost part of my soul. So I went to a deep, dark place for a little bit, and then with the chronic pain that I deal with, a lot of times I had to mask that. Not that I had to, I chose to mask it. Not only with the meds that the VA gave me, because, hey, I'm being a good Marine, the doctor tells me to take it, I'm going to take it. At one point, they had me on 7 different medications, for my PTSD, for my anxiety, for my freaking sleep problems. It's like, take a pill to go to sleep, take a pill to wake up, take a pill to get through the day. I literally lost like 2 years of my life because I can't remember it. I was so messed up. And
That's
then
one of the reasons I'm scared to take any of those medications.
And then on top of that, now I'm, self-medicating, the alcohol. Being born and raised in Vegas, I was a drinker. I was a heavy drinker. It was fun, but it was, the weekend warrior stuff. It's like, you got your Monday through Friday stuff, and then, on the weekends you party. And, being in the Marine Corps, it was the same way, but you don't want that to affect your life. But having gone through all of that and going through the suicide ideologies and everything that I went through, that's when I got into things like the Wounded Warrior Project. I was a peer mentor, peer group facilitator for the Wounded Warrior Project. I did a vet court. I was a peer mentor with Veteran Court, trying to help people go through stuff because I know what it's like to be there. So for me, it was all, there's stuff on the other side of it. Like it might look like that everything's closing in on you, but that's not the reality of the situation. Is there's people out there that can help you and people out there that can walk you through it. And I think being me who went through all that crap, and I'm still dealing with stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, unicorn farts and rainbows for me now. No, there's some days that, life's rough on me. My pain's rough on me. Sometimes I can't get out of bed properly. I can't work a regular job because I can't be committed to showing up somewhere, because if I'm having a bad pain day, guess what? I'm done. My headaches come back. I'm done. My migraine hits 2-3 days of dealing with that. I'm
Same.
done. You know what I mean? So it's like, even the other day, Saturday night, I'm just laying in bed. I get up, I plug my phone in, I go to the bathroom. I literally passed out. That's never happened before. I completely fainted and dropped down. I'm like, what's going on now? It's like, there's always something you're going to be dealing with, but you have to know that that's not the end for you. You can push through it. So when I got medically retired in 2005 and pretty much thought my life was over, that was 20 years ago. We're coming up on 21 years this year of me being medically retired, from them telling me that I can't be a Marine anymore because I'm too broken. I'm still a tactical firearms instructor. I'm a master firearms instructor for the state of Nevada. I'm working with, a couple different training companies. I do executive protection with the UFC, which is, one of my dreams. Are you kidding me? Like, I've been a martial artist since I was a kid, and now I get to be, I'm not a UFC employee, but I get to be part of the UFC.
Same.
Doing stuff, and that's a freaking blessing. Like, are you kidding me? It's like, hey, we got fights coming up next week. T-Mobile Arena, baby.
Oh, you and me have never had to pay for a fight ever. We got paid to be there.
Exactly. It's like, but it's like, look at all these things that I've accomplished post Marine Corps life that they said that I could never do. Doctors told me that I'm going to be in a wheelchair. You're going to be stuck in a wheelchair because all these surgeries in your hips and this and that and the other. Well, guess what? I'm still thriving more than ever before because I had to change that mindset of I'm not a victim of my own, pain and dealing with this stuff. I am going to thrive through everything. And all that goes to, you know, that resiliency factor. Like you can get through all this. It's amazing that, you know, in the Marine Corps, you know, they break you down to build you up to make you into these strong warriors. But then when they release you, you get into the civilian world and everything starts crushing you.
Yeah.
And you forget who you are, like what you've gone through. I didn't go through all of this to be strong, just to come out here to be weak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So it's like, that's one of the big things is you can carry through anything. You know, a divorce, it happens. Someone doesn't love you anymore. It happens. You know, does it hurt? Absolutely. But you can get through that. You can have the people that love you through it. You can have the people that are mean to you through it. It doesn't matter. And then cut those people out of your life. You don't need them anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, and then whatever you need to turn to in the sense of, you know, what guides you, you know, whether it be spiritually or things like that, you know, what helps, you know, with your life. Like I told you, I was born and raised Jewish, but, you know, was it 10 years ago, I gave my life to Jesus. And so now, thank God for him, because had it not been for him and how I started to turn around my life, you know, like they say, you know, in Matthew and Philippians, you know, through him all things are possible.
Yep.
So that's for me though. Like that's my way of dealing with it and how I'm moving forward. And then I just try to, you know, be a vessel, be an example, and help everybody else through their way. But it's that journey that you take of that resiliency that's built in you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that.
Of course.
And man, I think about it myself, because the mental health, the migraines, you've been there for me when things got really rough these past couple years. And I always knew, like, I can call you.
Absolutely.
You were always there. It was funny. So I needed a place to stay because like everything was kind of like crashing down. I called him and I was able to crash in his guest bedroom. And then guess what? We worked for UFC the next day. That was just how it was. He's like, "Hey, get up. We have a job." I'm like, "I'm on it. Let's go do it."
No matter what. Clothes were a little too big on you, but
yeah, I know. But it worked. It worked, you know. And that's sometimes you just need that. You need people in your corner that are just ready, who understand. And it's hard to find that. And even if they don't understand because they haven't experienced, there'll be the compassion for the people to your left and right is what's going to get them to keep going, because it is hard. There's most days I wake up and I hardly even sleep. And it's hard for me to sleep just because I'm in my head. And then I wake up and then so grit just starts all over again. I'm trying to find my way to distract and be productive all day, you know? 100%. And I'm always grateful that you're always there. You've always been there for everybody, right? And so it's like every time I've seen you. So, you know, I really appreciate you making this time, coming out here.
And then you invite me over.
Looking forward to doing some more fun stuff.
Absolutely.
All right? Love you, big guy.
Love you, brother.
All right. And that's it, guys. Talk to you later.